Hey peoples, it's Jim, and I got more ghosty stuff. I got stuff. It happened last week that sparked all this up. But we're gonna go back to the beginning, late '70s. Uh, I was working at the Bally Hotel. My dad and mom owned it at the time, and another guy that worked there, Phil Stahl. Uh, he used to do solo acts, solo musicians. He used to run open mic, and we were drinking buddies. And he's still one of the best solo acts in that area, no doubt, from Jim Thorpe to Philly. But Phil can back me up on this. I was living in the hotel. I was living in one of the rooms upstairs, Tenon Bar. I would close. The legal time for Pennsylvania is 2 o'clock. Well, this is the late '70s, so it was pretty much a free for all. Yeah, I'd close at 2. But then Phil and I would go out to bars that we knew would stay open till 4 or 5 in the morning. We'd get back, and of course I live upstairs. Phil's car's in the parking lot probably. And I'm like, come on, let's go in and we'll have a nightcap. Always a nightcap, no matter what time of day. So the back door of the Bally Hotel used to be at the top of the steps back in the day. And often when Phil and I walked up those steps, we stood in the dark outside the door and we could hear a party going on inside. We could hear the glass tinkling, we can hear some remnants of music in the background, we can hear the people, we can hear that muffled party sound. But as soon as we make a sound, as soon as we make a noise, it's done. Just like that. One time I came back and we were pretty hammered up. And there's the party, there's the noise. And I go to bang on the door just to make it stop before we walked in. I missed the door and broke the window. Now that was a long night because of course, can't go to bed with the bar wide open. So that's where this all started, this whole idea. It's just this rambunctious craziness. One time, Phil and I were so curious about this that we put a recorder in the first floor of the Bally Hotel. And this is back in the day when there was nothing digital. We had a reel-to-reel. And we put one microphone at the entrance to the back bar, and we put another microphone at the kitchen door, the entrance to the kitchen. In stereo, we could hear what was going on. So what we did was, anyhow, we set up the reel-to-reel. Phil and I go drinking. Come back at our typical 5 in the morning. Here the reel-to-reel was already off. It was broken. Somebody broke the tape. It was off. You could see where they stretched the tape apart to make it stop. But on, the 15 or 20 minutes of tape that we had, we could hear them walking around, and we knew where they were walking because we knew where where the microphones were. They'd start over at the bar, and they'd be checking locks. That was the big thing. Sliding bolts that aren't there anymore. They're sliding bolts, checking locks, walk their way around in and out of the kitchen door. We could hear it because it was on the other microphone. It was fun. But this is way before I got into the real serious ghosty stuff. It was just interesting. But it does happen. YouTube tells me it was 7 months ago that I made a video about Colleen's house. It's called The Afternoon Haunting in Colleen's House. And there, it's basically the same thing. I would get home early from work. I'd go upstairs down the end of the hallway and shut myself in my room. I lived there in the summer up there. Colleen and her husband aren't home yet. So as long as my door was closed, there was a carrying on by invisible people at the bottom of the attic door, right there at the other end of the hallway, every afternoon. as soon as Colleen and Greg come home, no, it's done. Or if I open my door and kind of roll back in my chair, yeah, I could see that whole area, most of that area, and it stopped. So when they know we're around, it ends. They stop their craziness. This just happened last week here for the first time. Last Monday, I was just coming in from a friend's house in the afternoon, early afternoon, and I came up to my front door, which is on the first floor. The living quarters is up here on the second floor. I slide the key in the lock, but even before I opened the door, I could hear something going on. It was so loud. The second floor was making noise. I could hear all the way across, down the steps, across the foyer to the front door. So I kind of threw the front door open and kind of just stood there because I knew something was up. Sure enough, at least 2 full seconds. And that's kind of a long time if you count it out. I could hear this craziness upstairs at the top of the steps. I don't know, it almost sounded like wheels on the tile floors up here. I don't know what it was, but it was crazy, it was loud, and as soon as they realized I was downstairs, it was done. It was over. So what do we do? We do a study. You know what I'm talking about if you watch these videos. Spread recorders all around the house, and I ask questions. I pause, give them time to answer, ask another question. Colleen and I work on this together. So we did. I asked, and this is the result of what we get about asking what was going on. So that was the lead question. What was going on up here when I got home yesterday? Nice and fresh. A man in the spare room. That will have been Georgie. And a woman soon after says, Fight Master was doing his thing. Now, we had an uncle, a grandfather by the name of George, and he was a prize fighter when he was young. We've never heard anything about our grandfather doing this kind of thing, and we've never heard anybody call him Georgie. So we don't know, but it's a chance, outside chance. Another question. What kind of party did I interrupt? A woman responds hardcore, and a guy right next to her says, Piece of Finnegan's. It's my last name. I don't know. Of course, I'm surrounded by an awful lot of Finnegans, so maybe one of them was causing some trouble. Last question. Why did they scramble when I got home? A man in the kitchen exclaims, Jim! He's not talking to me. He's talking to another Jim. A man over at the steps says, I didn't do anything. A man at the same spot right next to that guy, Jim! Again, he exclaims, Jim! That's 2 different guys. And the guy saying, I didn't do anything, that could very well have been our father. The voices do change in the afterlife. It's the voice that Colleen and I remember, and the voice he might have now, there's no way to know. It's hard to tell. It wasn't that distinctive enough to say yay or nay. But with 2 different men exclaiming his first name, Jim, that's our father. There he is again. Yet another example of causing shit in the afterlife. This guy just doesn't quit. So, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Thank you. I'm getting ready to go to TikTok with some of this too. Check it out. See you soon. Thanks.